What eventually disappeared and no one noticed? Somewhere along the way 9 to 5 turned into 8 to 5. Yeah, when I hear the song I'm like, wait, did they get paid for lunch? Or just eat at their desks? Or did they actually not work 8 straight hours? They got paid for lunch. The idea was that them being there at lunchtime was because the company paid them to be there the entire time. Companies also used to have company cafeterias that sold decent food at a very reasonable price. Toys in cereal boxes, or glow-in-the-dark lightsaber spoons for each Star Wars movie that came out. More importantly, toys in Cracker Jack. Hell, they don't even come in a box anymore, they come in a bag. Edit. And speaking of prizes, you don't get those chance to win under the cap, sweepstakes on drinks anymore. Everything is a code that the majority of people probably never take the time to enter on a website. You used to be able to just look under the cap to see if you won, and then mail the cap to the company. Longevity in careers. This is a big one nobody seems to have said. Longevity in careers has largely gone away. People used to get a job and after being there for decades reap the benefits of being seasoned employees, higher salaries and better perks. Maybe it's because I work in the entertainment industry, but I feel that longevity in careers has gone away. Meaning, people can be amazing at a job, but after 5+ years the employers start wondering if they could be doing better with a younger, cheaper candidate for the job. I understand if you ever want to move up in a workplace they expect you to bring your game, but 30+ years of being incredible is hard. Some years will be better than others, and if employers don't have loyalty to their employees anymore, it is likely the good employee will be fired or let go at some point. I never see swarms of monarch butterflies anymore. Plant milkweed. It is the only plant that monarch caterpillars can eat. It's a great, inexpensive gardening hobby and very easy to do. People fainting when something unexpected happens. And people carrying smelling salts for just such an occasion. It's so 19th century. There's so many unbelievable things going on that it doesn't even faze us anymore. Those god-awful Chevy commercials with the real people, not actors. One day, I realized I hadn't seen one in a while and it was almost as if they'd never existed. Except I knew they had. Man, I hated those damn things. I believe the YouTube channel, Zebra Corner, single-handedly killed those ads. Those rubber bands shaped like things that you wore on your wrists. Silly bands. Kinda surprised I haven't seen this one yet, but Ronald McDonald. You remember the old clown everywhere in and around McDonald's commercials in stores? Gone. Phased out when that clown scare prank trend was going around. He's still chilling on a bench at our local McDonald's. Lazy fucker. CD, DVD drives in laptops. Gaming consoles at McDonald's. Or in big markets. In the 90s, I lived in a small town that didn't have any big stores, but there was a bigger town an hour's drive away where we did our shopping that had those. In those stores, they had PlayStations and Nintendo 64s out for you to try out. I remember seeing Mario 64 for the first time there, and after some other kids got bored with it, I got to try it out as well. It was magic. I think the last store console I saw was PS3, and the last one I tried was probably GBA. Shame in politics. Politicians used to resign in disgrace if caught taking bribes. The secret was that they learned that the only reason they were leaving was because they chose to. Once politicians realized that it was actually incredibly hard to actually force them out of office, they changed tactics to just ignoring the issue and waiting for the news cycle to move on. Our recent First Minster in Northern Ireland was investigated as part of a scandal where a poorly built energy incentive scheme ended up losing £500 million in taxpayer money. She was accused of either being criminally negligent or actually criminal. The investigation decided it was the first option, just massively incompetent. Did she leave office? Nope. She clammed up and refused to acknowledge it and acted as if everyone was just being petty. Having many family photographs in homes. Not completely gone, but homes used to be plastered in them. The only times I really notice them is in homes of older people. 3D television. I wouldn't say it went away silently. They kinda never took off in the first place. My favorite illegal streaming websites. Just Google online movies 2023 inches but replace movies with its translation in another language, preferably Eastern European. Oh, and make sure you have an ad blocker. Just search on Yandex instead of Google. They don't give a fuck and you'll find the movie you want on page 1. Tayo Cruz. Someone answering the phone at businesses. Speaking of which, has anybody's menu options not recently changed? Yeah, The same companies that have average or lower than average call volume at any point. The foil wrapper on chocolate bars. You could slide a Hershey bar out of the wrapper, eat it, then carefully insert the foil wrapper back into the sleeve to fool your brother. Gum with sugar. The majority of chewing gum is sugar-free. Gum's gotten mintier lately. Have you noticed? Like, some of it's just too minty. It's like they're literally trying to hurt. I thought about this yesterday. Like American gum, Wrigley's Double Mint is like a mild, nice minty flavor. Gum in the UK tastes like you're trekking through Iceland without any winter clothing. Saturday morning cartoons. This was a 1-2 punch from the FCC Educational Programming Act in 1996 and the prevalence of all kids' networks on cable. As a kid in the 90s with no cable, I noticed. Blimps, helium is expensive and drones can do some of their missions. Hear me out. Hydrogen, I hear it's the wave of the future. Do you want to blow us all to shit, Sherlock? Reddit live streams. Remember that guy with a guitar in your feed? He disappeared a long time ago but you didn't even notice it. I also remember a very, very sweaty drummer. Office drummer. He's still crushing on here and Twitch. Fireflies aka lightning bugs. I live rural and I used to see hundreds on a warm summer night. Now I get excited if I see just one. I mentioned it to other people who live in the same area as I do and they were just like, huh. Yeah, you're right. I'm a biologist and we categorize fireflies as bioindicators. Meaning if they are a lot in an area, it really says a lot of the environmental quality of that area. They usually thrive in areas where there is less light pollution since bioluminescence is their primary mode of communication. Insert artificial light in the equation and you disrupt their mode-species interaction. The outrage over net neutrality. Grandfather clocks. It was almost a must-have decor. My company in the 80s gave it as a gift to employees for their 10th anniversary. Good value for price at restaurants. Restaurants have quietly reduced portion sizes since COVID without restoring them. Noodles & Company, along with many others, advertise large portions like pre-pandemic but only give to-go sizes even when dining in. All for a higher price. Shrinkflation. To hide a price increase, companies sell less product for the same price instead of raising the price on the same product. Privacy in your daily life. I live in fear of being randomly filmed one day doing something and going viral. Girls Gone Wild. Or maybe it's just because I don't really watch Comedy Central anymore. Apparently the girls have settled down. Girls Gone Mild. A common pop culture, in the US, at least. Until at least the 80s, most people watched the same TV show, saw the same movies, listened to the same music, could recite the same commercial slogans or jingles, bought into the same fads. I don't know when it happened, but now we are all siloed into highly specific subcultures. Did we ever stop whatever it was Kony was doing in 2012?